Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time visiting me. Today I am doing my May show and tell. This is just a glorified favorites video. I just call it a show and tell because that's what it is. I'm showing and I'm telling. I'm going to talk about what I've been up to in May, talk about some fun things that are going on and that I've been working with and on, and show some decks that I worked with in May. You know, the fun stuff. I usually save the decks for the end, just so you know. It's like the icing on the cake, the sprinkles on the cupcake, the dessert after a delicious meal. That's why I do the decks at the end. Anyways, okay, let's get into it. So I like to start off talking about memories, and May was a fun one because in May, Peggy and I went down to the Portland, Oregon area and we visited Dawn Michelle and her husband Kevin. If you missed our fun two-part Q&A video that we did while we were down there, check that out. I will link Dawn's part 1 video where Dawn and I were answering all of y'all's questions. And I'll also link the video that Peggy and Kevin did, and we put that one up on my channel, and that was them answering all of your questions. So y'all brought the good questions, they brought the humor, Dawn and I did our thing. It was a lot of fun though. We got to hang out, we went to a couple metaphysical stores, well, we went to one metaphysical store, which was amazing, called, oh, I have to look it up. New Renaissance. It was called New Renaissance, and it was so fun. They had tons of independently published books and decks, as well as just, you know, mass market published books and decks. A really, really fun store to just browse in. I could have gotten lost in there for an entire day. Peggy was there, Kevin was there, and I think Dawn and I did a good job of getting out of there in a reasonable amount of time, but reasonable is subjective, and I think Dawn and Kevin were troopers. But that was a really, really fun trip, and yeah. I may have bought a few things. So keep an eye out on my recent deck roundup if you want to see all the things I came home with, as well as other things I bought. I bought a lot of things in May. So anyways, that's coming up on the channel, on this channel next week. So you can see that then. But I just wanted to talk about what a fabulous time that I had down there. Peggy and I had a great time. We stayed at a really lovely little Airbnb, and it was a really nice getaway. Peggy and I haven't gotten away in a while, and it was really, really, really lovely, and made possible partly because our son was willing to dog sit for us because, as many of you know, Bruno, our little Chihuahua Rat Terrier mix dog, has some special needs because he's a diabetic, so it's not always easy for us to get away, and so John dog sitting really helped us out. But it was an amazing time. We had a blast. We spent one evening eating pizza and watching really bad 80s music videos. So that was the thing, but it was a lot of fun. We had an incredible time. It was so much fun, and I can't wait to see them again. So another memory from May that is too special for me to not share is that I've been spending a lot of time in May working on my deck and working on the book that I'm currently writing for Llewellyn. Those have been big, big, big projects, and there's been a lot of headway made on both. But when it comes to the deck, there have definitely been some things happening behind the scenes that I'm really excited to share. Logistically, there are a lot of moving parts to creating a deck, and I've been doing a lot of work in May that's all behind the scenes stuff, so it's hard to sort of quantify it, but a lot of work just working on strategizing about planning things that are logistical, that are sort of the nuts and bolts of things behind the scenes. I've been doing a lot of work about that. That's been really great. But I managed to get out a Road So Far update with all of the major arcana and all of the wands. I'm having a really hard time. I will link it up in the cards for you so you can check it out. I'm having a hard time containing myself when I make these Road So Far updates. I've only done a couple of them, but it's really hard for me to just not stop and talk about every single card, like in detail. I'm going to try to rein it in next time and sort of focus on the new suit. So the next time I make a Road So Far, it will be including the majors, the fire suit, and the water suit, which I am so excited to show y'all. Now, if you want to see the card updates, the art updates before anybody else, then you want to be on the newsletter. So to get on the Unicorn's Journey Tarot Progress newsletter, you want to go to unicornsjourneytarot.com. That is always linked in my description box down below, so you can check it out. The next newsletter will actually be going out, if I've timed this all properly, it will be going out in a couple of days. So if you are behind, I am just starting to show the water suit to people on the newsletter now. So I released the first couple of cards in the water suit last newsletter, which was a couple weeks ago, and we're into the next couple. So I'm just saying, if you want to see stuff way before everybody else, you want to be on the newsletter. I try to get out 2 or 3 card reveals every couple of weeks. So I don't send the newsletter super frequent. It's like twice a month, but I try to get a couple new art releases out when I do that. Anyways, babbling about the deck because it is my entire life right now. The deck and the book that I'm writing are like all up in here in my brain, and it's been a lot. But a fun milestone that happened in May is that the Esotorical Spring Edition came out. And oh my God, this has, look at, okay, so this is the moment. You know when they say when you're working on something and there's a moment when it all gets really real? The Unicorn's Journey Tarot is such a dream project, but the moment that I got this physical copy of the Esotorical in my hands and saw the feature on the very first page, look at this. That's my lover's card or my choice card in the Unicorn's Journey Tarot. That is the world, that's the tower, and that is the star. The star might change perspective. I might have, yeah, I'm probably going to change the perspective, but that's the star card. It's a work in progress. So the Esotorical had reached out to me and asked if they could feature the Unicorn's Journey Tarot in their work in progress section. And I was so delighted to say yes and so excited to see it show up in print. It's like, oh, this is real. Like I'm actually really doing this. It felt really amazing. And the other thing that's kind of made it feel real is I have this little teeny tiny mini. Let me show you this little teeny tiny mini. This is just my majors and it's on terrible home printed cardstock. It doesn't have the titles or anything like that, but I have a little mini for myself of the cards. My majors, there's my Emperor, my Hanged One, Empress, Chariot. Oh, it's so cute. I just love it. Anyways, I can't even really properly shuffle it. Like I can kind of hand over hand it. But this is just printed on printable cardstock. It's like paper, basically, just very thin paper. But I have this little majors right here, and it makes me really stinking happy to have all the majors. And we now have the fire suit complete, barring potential small tweaks or revisions, but like roughly complete. I'm excited. And also in May, sorry, apparently I can't stop talking about this. Also in May, I presented a design idea to Francesca for the backs. I sketched it out for whatever that's worth. And so Francesca's going to make it not look like my messy sketch and send it back to me. And so I'm very excited about the backs. So we'll see. I don't know if it's the design that will stick, but it's the first one that I was like, yes, this, let's do this. So I'm very excited about it. And have I mentioned that I'm excited? I'm a little excited. I'm a little ridiculous about this, but this is like dream come true territory for me. So yeah. Anyways, it's a lot. It's a lot in my brain, but I'm really excited about it. So that brings us to YouTubey things. I know I've already talked about some YouTubey things like the Road So Far update and the Q&A that I did with Dawn and Kevin and Peggy, but there's a few other fun YouTubey things that I just really am dying to share. First of all, our very own community member, Tammy Pie, has finally created a channel and has started posting videos on it. So I definitely encourage you to subscribe and check it out. Tammy Pie has been an active member of our tarot community here on YouTube for a very long time, and it's really exciting to see her creating content. So go give her some love and check it out. She's making some awesome videos. She has a really good video summing up the I Ching, her practice with the I Ching, and it's incredible. I definitely encourage you to check it out. I've also in May really been enjoying the channel Tarot Readings from a Bitch. Yes, I just said that, but that is the name of the channel. Go check her out. I will link her channel down below as well. She's very refreshing, very like plain speak. You get exactly what you know you're going to get when you go to her channel, and I appreciate it. She did a book review on the book Finding the Fool that really caught my attention. I just really enjoyed the way that she approached the review, and I've just been enjoying her content in general. So go check it out. I also was completely blown away by Candy Soul and Soil's video about the Sheila Gig. If you have not seen that video, what are you doing? Please bookmark it and go watch it. Unless you're like, the topic is totally not of interest, of course, but just humor me and just check it out because it is an incredible video. Candy puts a lot of work into her content, and I appreciate it so much as somebody who goes to her channel specifically for the exact kind of content that she makes. Like I know when I go to her channel, I'm going to feel inspired. I'm going to see something beautiful. I'm going to hear beautiful words. It's just, she does such a beautiful job, and yeah, just, I loved her Sheila Gig video so much. And off topic completely from tarot related anything, I discovered the channel, I think through Peggy. I discovered the YouTube channel, The Y Files, which is so fun and quirky and I love it. Y'all know I love watching, maybe you don't know, little secret love of mine. I love watching like fun content around aliens and UFOs and like fun theories, wild theories. I love that stuff. So the Y Files has been a really fun YouTube channel, and Peggy and I have been watching episodes of that occasionally with dinner, and it's just been really lovely, quite a treat. And I'm a huge fan of the Hecklefish. If you know, you know. And that brings us to Magick. I don't often have a lot to share in the magical category because I do spell work or magical work if and as needed. And sometimes I do share some of that stuff or some of those processes behind the scenes in my membership where I can kind of do these like really casual videos and show exactly what I'm doing when I'm doing magical work. But I did kind of go down a bit of a rabbit hole in May that I thought I'd share with you. So I was updating my book of shadows. So I guess let me show you that first. So when I do magical work or I do spell work, I typically will keep notes about what I've done. And then as I get time, which is rare, I will update my book of shadows with that information. So as an example, I did, let me see if I can find a page I can show you here. I did a money bowl spell. So I think I've talked about my money bowl before on my favorites or my show and tell. And so I put the money bowl spell in my book of shadows. So, but I only had the writing part and I just kind of went hog wild in May. I took a photo of my actual money bowl in its current state. And I literally created it as a little tip-in into this book of shadows. And I even put the sigil that I've been using with it on the back there. So it's so fun. So anyways, I updated my book of shadow with a bunch of these spells that I'd done and just hadn't logged in here. And in the process of doing this, I ended up going down a bit of a rabbit hole. This is my book of shadows, by the way. This was actually handmade for me and sent to me, and I treasure it so much. But in the process of doing that, I decided I wanted to study an herb. I was like, you know what? I just want to pick one herb. I don't want to go crazy. I don't want to like, she says, famous last words. I'm like, I just want to get to know one herb that I haven't maybe worked with a lot in the past, get to know it, maybe create a page for it in my book of shadows. So this is sort of what started it. And I decided I would pick nettle because I had been sent some nettle and some cleavers as part of an apothecary at home unboxing that I did a while back on the channel. And I had every intention to work with nettle back then, but it got tabled and I never ended up working with it. So I decided to pull that out and do some work with it. So I did my usual sort of thing. I went down the rabbit hole and looked in the classic, the Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. And then I started watching video after video after video about nettle's sort of medicinal benefits, herbalism videos. I watched stuff about its metaphysical properties. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you I have spent hours in May learning about nettle. And I didn't think that it was going to catch my attention the way that it did. But this herb is such an incredible powerhouse. It is not only a local plant, a plant that grows wild around here everywhere. Not that I trust myself to forage. I'm still not comfortable foraging. That could change someday, but like right now, no. I do know how to identify it. I'm fairly confident. And I will keep my eyes out in case I find a local patch or something. But typically, foraging scares me. Let's just be honest. I'm never 100% convinced that I'll be able to identify, but I have learned so much about nettle. Okay, let me get back on track. I even went and bought, okay, I got this from Amazon. I should be showing this in my books, but like it's part of my magic, so we're just going to show it here. The book Dreaming with Nettle, a Plant Spirit Short Read. This is by Heather Sanderson. So this is a very tiny little book. It's a little self-published book on Amazon, but it was a lovely little read all about nettle. And this was just part of me deep diving about nettle. And so as part of that journey, I decided to make a nettle infused oil. I wanted to use the oil for its skin soothing properties, its benefits from a topical perspective. And so I wanted to make an infused nettle oil. This is my first herbal infusion and I'm really, really proud of it. Infused oil, that is. I'm really proud of it. So this is how it turned out. Look at how beautiful. Let's see if I can get the light behind it. It is like the most gorgeous shade of green. Look at that. It is beautiful. And I want to be clear. I did not start with olive oil, which has a yellow tint. I started with perfectly crystal clear fractionated coconut oil. So this green is all nettle. I'm so proud of this oil and it has been the most miraculous thing ever. Now, maybe this doesn't fall into magic. I don't know. I'm going to get there though. But I have a really bad reaction to mosquito bites, right? And I was so deep dived into nettle that everything was like, we can solve everything with nettle, okay? Everything is currently a nail because I now have a hammer, okay? This is what's been happening for me in May. And so I got this really nasty mosquito bite. Normally they swell up really big. I have this really bad reaction. They're very, very itchy. I applied nettle oil to this mosquito bite once. By the next day, it was almost completely gone. No itch. No issues. I was like, nettle oil, where have you been all my life? I'm also currently making, actually, let me show you. So I used a hot infusion method to make my nettle oil because I have plans for that. I want to get to use it right away. I'm also currently working on a slow infusion of nettle vinegar. So nettle infused vinegar. So that's what I have going on right here. So I started this on May 23rd. And this is a organic apple cider vinegar, like the one with the mother. It's that and a ton of nettle, and I just shake it like a couple times a day. And so this is currently infusing because I plan to make I'm going to strain this out, and once it's strained out and back in its little bottle, I'm going to be using it to make nettle hair rinses because apparently those are fabulous for your hair. I have just been learning so much about nettle, and I have plans for the nettle. I've had nettle tea, which is, by the way, delicious, and I like it more than I like green tea. It's so much more like savory and yummy, and I have learned so much about nettle. If you're bored of hearing about nettle now, I'm not yet. I'm still really enjoying nettle, and I have plans. In fact, later today, I'm going to be filming a video that I'm probably going to share in my membership where I'm going to do some crafting with my nettle oil and all that kind of stuff. But I am obsessed. I'm obsessed. And now I'm like, is this what I've been missing all this time about like working with herbs? Like, is this what it is? Because I have so many plans now. I have so many plans. And it all started because I was just like, I just want to make a nettle page in my book of shadows. And then here we are. But it is an incredible herb. It is an incredible herb. And magically speaking, nettle is obviously wonderful for protection. It's wonderful for boundaries. It's got a lot of really great metaphysical properties as well. So of course I've been playing with it in that capacity also. And I'm just having an incredible time with nettle. And I needed to share. That's what I'm doing. The other sort of magical spiritual thing that I got up to in May is that I brought in some more totems, goddess figures into my collection. So if you don't know Bridget's Grove, let me show you the original one I had. So Bridget's Grove makes these beautiful and very sturdy goddess figures. This is one that I got for work with healing and with water and with flow. And this one has been really, really lovely for me. I've been working with this a long time. They have these little belts, and the different belts have different like charms that hang on them or different stones. They're lovely. What I like about these is that they're very, very, like I said, sturdy. You can't, I mean, I'm sure you can break them, but I've never broke them because they're made out of resins, I believe, like resins? Plastics of some kind. They're made out of resins of some kind, but what I like about these is that they are really nicely hand-shaped, and I have anointed them with oils before. You can wash them in soap and water. I take the belt off first, which you can remove. It's got a little lobster clasp on the back, but I love using these for deity work, and I was really called to get one for some specific deity work that I've been doing with working with the crone aspect of the goddess, specifically the Kaliak, which I'm still not convinced I'm saying correctly, but I'm saying it the best I can for now, so there we go. But I wanted to get a Kaliak figurine or figure of some kind to use in my practice, and Bridget's Grove had a beautiful one, and oh my gosh, wait till I show you. So I don't know if this was actually labeled Kaliak. I don't think it was necessarily. It may have just been labeled crone goddess of some kind, but look at her. She is so stunning. So this is her. She's beautiful. She's got this gorgeous sparkle shimmer, midnight blue, like just gorgeous. She's so pretty. And because I was there anyways, so I got her, and then I also picked up two more of these. So I got this one. This is a protection one, or it was billed as a protection one. I loved the strong pentacle on the belt, and she is sort of like a plummy purple color, also a shimmer. Apparently I have a style. I like the shimmery ones. And then I also got a sovereignty one, and I forget what she was called, but she has on her belt a crown. Oops, I'm covering her up. There she is. And she is a lighter purple. So my little family, we have these two. Let me just hold these three up together so you can see my little family. I'm bad at holding them up, but those are the three traditional ones that I got, or that I had. The blue one I had, and then I got the purple and plummy. I got these two. Where did they go? Here we go. I got these two. So pretty. Let me put them up here for now. But she is so special. I love her so much. So love, 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 love. If you've never seen these little goddess figurines at Bridget's Grove, they're on Etsy. I will link their shop down below. They're just beautiful, and I'm so thrilled. This one even has like a crescent moon on her forehead. I don't know why I keep holding my hand up. I forget that this camera, I don't need to do that. So there's that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So I'm very, very happy to have those. All right, we have reached the point where I'm going to talk about my beauty favorites. So makeup, nail polish, all that kind of stuff. And the very first thing I want to show you is lip smackers. So I think I talked about my Hello Kitty lip smackers in a previous month. These are the best. This one's a unicorn one. Look at it. Just look at it. It is so cute. And the lip balm inside is actually super creamy and moisturizing. This is like a purple shade. It does not look purple on my lips at all, but it's really moisturizing. I love these. I will say my cap on my unicorn one is, ooh, I'm gonna jab it. My cap on the unicorn one is really, really loose compared to my Hello Kitty one, but that's okay. These are like $4. Like, it's kind of hard to be mad at it. But the horn on this unicorn, look at it. It's actually like textured. Oh my gosh. It's so cute. So I like these actually to keep in the spot in the living room where I sit usually with my laptop and do my editing work and such, because these are big and chunky, so I can throw them in a little basket and I can easily find them when I just want to apply some lip balm real quick. Love these. Really love this little unicorn one. I might have to get more of these because they're fantastic. And now let's talk about makeup. So the palette that I found that I almost always travel with, and I don't travel a lot, but when I travel, I always take my Wayne Goss palette. This is the Luxury Eye palette in Pearl. This has made the best travel palette for eyeshadow ever, because this has got the most, you can see I dug my nail into it right there. But anyways, what I love about this is that technically this shade here, right over here, this shade here, this pink, makes a really great blush. This color up here can double as a bronzer. And in general, these are wonderful eye shades. They just look really, really, really beautiful. They do a really great job, but I am obsessed with this shade up here. I think mine has actually a little bit of hard pan on it, but like it's not. I don't think it is hard pan because it still picks up really beautifully. I'm obsessed with this color. It like, maybe it is a little bit of hard pan. I might have to scrape that because it's definitely, oh no, it's still coming off fine. It's a very sheer color. I've shown it before, but I can put this on top of another eyeshadow. I don't know if the light's going to pick it up. It's very, oh there, you can see it there. It's got just the most gorgeous, like reflective, like wet looking shimmer. It's so pretty. Anyways, it's really, really, it travels well. It's hardy. Like it's hardy as in it doesn't feel very breakable. But this is all I need as far as doing my eyes, and this travels really well. So I had to highlight this because this is what I was wearing on my eyes when I went and saw Dom Michelle. Although I did the dumb and did not bring anything to actually wash makeup off of my face. Don't do that. Don't do what I did. I ended up washing my face with like some really bad, cheap body wash or something. Thankfully, I actually had some First Aid Beauty Ultra Repair Cream in my car because I use it as a hand cream and I have a lot of the little mini tubes. And so putting that on my face after stripping it all with body wash completely rescued my skin. That stuff is amazing. I love that cream. I will always have that cream on hand. Thank God I had that, or it would have been a problem. But anyways, I traveled with this. I was able to make some pretty eye looks with this. It worked out great. I also did some fun eye looks in May using my I almost called this Wild Child. My Star Wars Mandalorian ColourPop. I only have, I think, 2 ColourPop palettes still in my collection that have held up and stood the test of time. This is one of them. I think the child is really cute. Okay, I mean, adorable. But what I love about this is the color story. It is so beautiful. I love making green eye looks, and this has like the perfect greens. It has the perfect amount of mattes and shimmers. I've used every single shade. The only one that I don't use as much would be this gold shade over here, just because I don't tend to do gold with this. I tend to do a lot of, like, this is my favorite shade of life as far as like a creamy, let me just show you. Oh God, it's so pretty. It's so pretty. The greens in here, the 2 metallic greens in here are really gorgeous. I'm just going to swatch them both because apparently I cannot help myself. These are so pretty. Oh, I'm all glittery from the, that's okay. I'm already all glittery from the other one. These just, they blend really nice. They look really pretty. And when I just want a good like green eyeshadow, I don't know that my light is doing me any favors, but there you go. You can kind of see them there. They're really, really pretty. Anyways, makeup. Makeup's so fun. Okay, so I wore that. And then there was a video, I don't remember which video, where I decided to go crazy with my eye makeup, and I think I did like a bright pink, hot pink and purple look. And so whenever I do like crazy colors, these are the palettes I'm using. So this is the Sugar Pill Fun Size palette. I don't know if they still sell this, but this has just got, it's rainbow, it's mattes. It's perfect. If I want to do any color in matte that is not like a neutral, this is the palette I use. It's such a great, sturdy, usable palette. It keeps me from buying other colorful palettes because this literally does all the things. And then what I've done is I went to Sydney Grace. They're an independent makeup place. They're independent eyeshadow. Anyways, Sydney Grace, indie makeup. I go there and I went there and I actually bought single shimmers that matched. So I can mix and match my rainbow shimmer palette and my rainbow matte palette to make rainbow colors. That's what I do. So these are my Sydney Grace shadows, and this is the Fun Size. And you can see how I literally coordinated. I even put them in the same arrangement so I can easily match them up. So Crazy, colorful eye looks usually come from here. And then the last eyeshadow palette that I played with in May that this is a go-to, I love this so much, is my Natasha Denona Glam palette. This palette is literal perfection. It's literal perfection. Whenever I want to do a really good cool toned look, I use this. When I used this palette in May, I actually primarily used this row and the next row over. But what I really love about this, and I don't think Natasha Denona has done this on any other palette, but I really wish it, how do I say this? This was not a popular thing for her to have done because by doing this, it excluded everybody but people with lighter or fairer skin tones, which was not great. But she identifies where to put the shadows. So center of eyelid, outer eyelid, smoke, blend, center eyelid, inner corner, lash line, outer eyelid, etc., etc. Okay, so because she does that, it makes it so easy to make a beautiful eye look if you don't know what you're doing. And when I just want to like no-brainer really good look, I just follow the instructions on here and I get a beautiful look. The reason it doesn't look for darker skin tones is because what works great as a transition shade on a lighter skin tone is not going to make a good transition shade for a darker skin tone. So it's not a very feasible thing to do on an eyeshadow palette, which you want to be able to work for a wide variety of people. But I love that I have this one that does it because it does work for me and I find it very, very useful. But yeah, I don't think she ever repeated that. But I would love, that's what I should probably do actually, is go through some of my other favorite eyeshadow palettes and literally mark where I put those shades typically. Then I'd have the same benefit and like it would work for me. It's kind of like writing keywords on Oracle cards, right? Just makes it more usable. And the last makeup-y thing that I want to talk about is Fenty Beauty Gloss Bomb. I am obsessed with these. I don't know, I have not had one of these go bad yet, but this is embarrassingly old. This is from a holiday collection of minis gloss bombs. These lip glosses are my favorite formula ever. They're very thick and plush and cushiony. They like stay where I put them. They always make my lips look good. And in May, I kept coming back to this shade, which is Hot Chocolate. This is a part of the permanent lines. I believe you can still buy Hot Chocolate as like a full size, but I freaking love this color. It's like almost like a gray. I don't know why I hold my hand up. It's almost like a gray brown. It's very true to that. Oh, frick. Might as well put it on the back of my hand because I'm putting everything on my skin. Oh, it's so pretty. That's the shade. So you can see it's kind of like, yeah, it's like a cool toned brown kind of. It's not as cool as it looks. These also smell incredible. Now I've got lip gloss on my hand. I don't know what to do about that, but I guess we just leave it there. No, I'm gonna have to go wipe this off. Okay, be right back. I guess makeup YouTubers probably just always have wipes on hand for their shenanigans because I want to put things on my skin and show you because I'm a nerd, and in another life I'm a secret beauty YouTuber because I love that world. But well, I shouldn't say I love that world. I like watching the videos. That's maybe more accurate. Anyways, now that I've wiped that off. So that was a fun beauty fave in May. And that brings us to nail polish. Let's talk about the shades that I wore in May. So I had this brilliant idea that I would wear shades that coordinate with the Decans, and that lasted about 2.5 weeks, maybe 3, before I was like, nah, I just want to wear what I want to wear. But I did wear Zoya's Tasha because it coordinated with the last Decan of Earth. And this is a beautiful chocolate brown shimmer. It's actually very similar, or bronzy shimmer. In my head, it's similar to Hot Chocolate, but it's not really. Like, these are the two side by side. Like you can see, this is so much warmer, but Tasha is beautiful. It's a gorgeous shade. So if you see me with a really pretty shimmery bronzy color on my nails, it's probably this one. Let me fix my screen here. It's probably this one. I love the shade. I'm a huge fan of Zoya polish, and this was a favorite for sure. I wore 2 Mooncat polishes in May. Clearly I have an obsession. This is probably my new favorite brand. I think Zoya is definitely my favorite, like easily accessible drugstore brand, but I don't know if it's even drugstore. Zoya is not really drugstore, is it? I guess it's mid-range. I don't know. But Mooncat is definitely my favorite independent for sure. But I wore, in which order? Oh yes. Okay. So I got 2 polishes here that I wore from their dinosaur-y collection. I don't know what they called it, but it was dinosaur themed nail polish and they were pretty colors. So, you know, the first one is called Rar. I don't know why I'm showing you the bottom. The first one is called Rar and it's this gorgeous purple shade. So it was a purple matte with these little flakies and glitters in it. Let's see if I can show you the back of the bottle where you can see some more of the dynamics of the polish. But it was really pretty. So if you saw me with a matte purple with glitter, this was the one. And then I also wore Mooncat's Sabretooth. And this was so fun. So ew, it looks really white in the camera, but it's not white, it's blue. How do I get it to show its real color? It's kind of blue with a gray-white shift. That is so trippy. What happens if, no, it still just looks gray. Weird. Okay, let's see if I can, what could I do? I don't think I can do anything to change how it looks. Anyways, if you saw me with blue matte, trippy matte nail polish in May, it was this, but it does not look like this. Look on Mooncat's website to see. That is such a trip. You can only see the like gray shift. Oh wait, a little bit of the blue. No, it doesn't look very blue in the camera at all. That is tripping me out. That is so cool. Anyways, this was also a matte color. So I also got Mooncat's matte top coat called Matte as Hell that I could put over top of these matte polishes. And I've got a couple more matte polishes as well that I haven't worn yet. So I will keep you posted on those. But Sabretooth was so much fun to wear. Somebody commented that it like perfectly matched one of my decks. And then somebody else literally was like, oh, are you wearing Mooncat Sabretooth? And I'm like, yes, I am. Good job. Good job. Obsessed. I love that one. And then I had gotten a while back Holo Taco's Pastel Linear Holo collection, but I hadn't been showing it a lot of love because of Mooncat, so I thought I'd whip out a color and use it in May. And so I pulled out Lemon Spritzer. This is the one that I would probably be least likely to reach for because it's yellow and I don't typically wear a lot of yellow polish, but this looks really pretty in the sun. It is a hollow, you can really see this one in camera. Look at all the rainbowiness. It's really pretty. So it's a light yellow. It does something with my skin tone that I don't love. I would definitely wear it again, but it's my least favorite from the collection. It was also basically free with the other colors, so I don't really mind if it languishes a little, but it is really pretty. It's kind of got this effect of like sunshine on my fingertips, which is not the worst thing ever. So that's it for beauty stuff. When it comes to TV and movies, I haven't been watching a lot of TV, watching the Y-Files, as I mentioned, on YouTube with Peggy occasionally, but I did go see the new Little Mermaid movie and it was so fun. I love the Disney stuff and I love the live action remakes of these classic Disney movies. I really loved the live action Beauty and the Beast, and the live action Little Mermaid was amazing. Halle Bailey, who was the lead actress, did an incredible job with her role, and her voice was spot on Ariel dupe. It was so good. Her vocals were incredible. The music was really, really good. I'm not a huge fan of the new songs, but partly because I'm a purist, I guess, maybe. But I loved it. It was a lot of fun, and I'm really, really glad I went. So let's talk about a few random things. First of all, there's the succulent that I am probably killing. This is so cute though. It's so cute. I've got lots of information from you all on this. Thank you very much for that. So I may have watered it too soon. It came all the way out, like the whole body of the plant came out of the pot and the soil felt very, very dry. So I think I was okay to water it. But just now, like a leaf popped off. So I'm not sure. Also, it's stretching, which I've been told is because it doesn't have enough light, but it's in the sunniest window in our condo. We don't get a lot of sun here. So I may have to stick it under Peggy's little grow light and see if it gets happier there, but it's so cute in its little unicorn pot, and I am obsessed. But yeah, see, there's a little spot on the leaf right there that's new too. So where did it go? Yeah, this leaf right here has a little spot on it. So I don't know, maybe it did get too much water? I don't know. But also it was doing fine in the grocery store. How much light could it be getting in the I mean, I guess it's getting a lot of artificial light. Does artificial light count? I don't know. I have questions, but I'm new to succulents. This poor one is probably not living its best life with me, but it's really cute. It's really cute. A random favorite from this month, of course, also is my new camera. I upgraded my camera and I am beyond thrilled. I am loving filming on this thing. I have got the best new filming setup. I'm so happy. I have filmed a behind the scenes for my members that is going up, I think, tomorrow. So Magical and Badass Unicorns will get to see what my new filming setup looks like and all the details. But I've got a new camera. I love it. It's been really nice to be able to just sit and film with a lot less setup. So that's been amazing. That's definitely a favorite for May, as is, to take a complete random sidestep, but this is the random category, these peanut butter marshmallows from Trader Joe's. I have not been to a Trader Joe's in ages. We don't have Trader Joe's in Canada. It's a shame, I know. We got so many delicious things there. Too many delicious things, if I'm being completely honest. But this was the best thing we got there. I saved the packaging so I can show you what it looks like. These were so stinking good. I have never bought a bag of marshmallows that were like this. Like I've definitely had marshmallows, like the kind you stick in your s'mores, like your basic Stay Puffed white marshmallows. And I've had mini marshmallows. I've never had marshmallows like this. These were like coated in like, they were like a cocoa flavored marshmallow covered with like a thin coat of like peanut butter coating. What happened was I opened the bag, Peggy opened the bag, and this is her favorite flavor combination, peanut butter chocolate. These are obviously full of sugar, which she's not supposed to be having a whole lot of. And she ate like two, and then she's like, please hide these from me. And so I did. I hid them in my stomach and they were so good. I probably ate them over a few days, but I did eat them all and I have no regrets. They were so delicious. So if you have a Trader Joe's near you and you have not had these, please go get them for me. Enjoy them for me and for yourself because they're incredible. They're so good. And that brings us to books and decks. And for that, I think I'm going to flip the camera around and actually show you properly what I have been playing with. So hold, and I'll be right back from the top down. Okay, we have arrived at my tabletop. So the book. This is the book I'm most excited about from May. This is Llewellyn's complete book of correspondences. I've had this on my list for a little while, ever since Dustin at Modern Metaphysicae mentioned that there was an upcoming release, like Llewellyn's complete book of folk magic or something like that, North American folk magic. So I looked up Llewellyn's complete book ofs, and I stumbled on this one, and I was like, why don't I have this? I'm gonna actually move this over here. I didn't understand, because this is exactly what I need for the way that I do spell work, magical work, is typically what I'll do. And I've been primarily using Cunningham's book and then a lot of other sources. But when I'm doing magical work for myself, what I do is I think of what I want to think, what I want to do, what I want to accomplish. And then I will go to various correspondence reference materials that I have and consider what I have in my collection and basically put together a bunch of correspondences that work for that goal, that feel for me to also make sense for that goal. And then I put together my spell. And this is like a one-stop shop that I cannot believe I didn't have before. So like, for example, I've already bookmarked, well, I bookmarked Nettle because of course I've been doing some work with Nettle. But what is incredible, this has so much more than oh, I'm going to mess up my candle here. I'm just going to move it completely out of the way. I did not know how comprehensive this thing was going to be. But first of all, it's huge. It's huge. How many pages is this? There's a lot of blank ones in the back. 500 something. Okay, 500 something with a ton of indexes. Indexes? Anyways, let me show you the contents. You can see just what's in here, and then I'll show you some sample entries. Let's see. Okay. So we have information you can actually read, but mostly I'm using this as a reference. So that's what I'm going to focus on. So you have a list of intentions, issues, intentions, and powers, which is usually where I would start. So like, let's say I wanted to do a spell that required, that was going to be leaning into the concept of strength. Then I would go to the strength section, and here you would have everything from timing, zodiac signs, colors, trees, herbs, plants, gemstones, anything that's associated with the sea, metals, deities, animals, marine, bird, reptile, mythical, and incredible, seriously incredible. And then you could also go, you could look up and you could go, well, I want to know what to do with a particular thing I do have. And then you can cross-reference in other ways. So that you can look up by trees, herbs, gardens, plants, and shrubs, miscellaneous plants, the mineral kingdom. So you've got gemstones, minerals, metals, and alloys from the sea, animals, birds, marine life, reptiles, insects, mythical creatures, goddesses, gods, magical beings, angels, the zodiac, the solar system, moon phases is in here. This is basically like a pre-done Book of Shadows, if you think of a Book of Shadows as like a reference book. Again, seasons, days of the week, times of the day, celebrations, oghams, runes, elements, directions, colors, energy, chakras, numbers, and of course the tarot is also in here. Like, hello? So like, if you just flip to any random entry, you'll get correspondences. And some have more fleshed out entries than others. But here's an entry on Kali. Here's an entry on Ostara. So just depending on what you want to look up. And then the indexes, of course, are incredible. So if you want to just look up any pages that reference power or pregnancy or pride or beauty, etc. Or there's also an index here for plants. So you can quickly reference, it looks like what section a different plant will be in. Invaluable. Invaluable. I'm so excited about this book. And it was shockingly affordable at $39.99 US, which for something like this, I think is just an insane bargain. An insane bargain. I'm so excited about this. And because I only work with correspondences that resonate for me personally, it's not like I'm taking this as like fact. I'm using this as a jumping off point, which is all I've ever used correspondence references for, is a jumping off point. So this is just exactly what I need. And I'm so excited. Like, I'll still use Cunningham's book for herbs, of course, but this gives me my jumping off point, which is what I really, really needed. So I'm so excited I bought this. And of course, I did already mention the Dreaming with Nettle book, as well as Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs, which I have been using forever and ever. These are always recommendations from me. Well, this one is always a recommendation from me. This one, there is a bunch of books in this series. I do think they're quite overpriced for like a 35-page book. They're like 10 bucks or something US, I think, or maybe that was Canada. But I did have a really nice experience with the Nettle version. I'm glad I got it. I don't know that I'll get other ones, but they do have these on Kindle as well. I just really wanted a physical copy for my work with Nettle. And now let's talk about decks. So throughout May, I actually used the Seasons of the Witch Beltane Oracle. I had a really lovely experience using this deck in May. So I used it for the entire month, and that's what I'll probably do, or have tended to do in the past with these Seasons of the Witch decks, is I use them in the season that I feel called to use them in. And I was regularly, I can't talk. I was regularly just pulling a card from this and using it as sort of a energetic guidance or focus or affirmation for the day. And I really love this. This really felt like it contained the energy of the season or of May for me. By the time I reached the end of May, I felt like my work with it was done for this year, but I may come back to it. I typically only use these in their season though, and I'm okay with that. That's what I got them for. So the Seasons of the Witch Beltane was a really lovely deck that I worked with in May, and I'm really glad I got it. I can't wait to get the others that are coming out. I think one of them is out now. Is it in bulk that's out now? I don't know, but I'll definitely be picking those up at some point. For almost the entire month of May, I did all of my sort of daily practice or my regular tarot practice using the Baba Studios Alice Tarot and the Jasmine Beckett Griffith and Lucy Cavendish. The Jasmine Beckett Griffith and Lucy Cavendish Alice the Wonderland Oracle. These don't aesthetically like match up perfectly. That's fine. They have the same exact theme, so that worked really well. I was using this deck partly because I was following along with some of Dawn Michelle's monthly medicine for her members. I really enjoy doing some of those prompts, so I did some of those using this deck, and there was a fairy tale theme, but there was specifically a week that was Alice themed. But it just inspired me to pull this deck out. I used it all month long, and I really, really enjoyed myself. I love having a reason to pull this out. I think it's beautiful. I think that Baba Studios did a great job with this one. It's such a treasure in my collection, and having some time to just play with it and only it was really, really decadent and nice for me. I really, really enjoyed that. And this oracle is quite hard hitting, I would say. This is not one to underestimate. I feel like a lot of these messages are very shadowy or are very provoking, and they worked really well. I really enjoy the guidebook that comes along with this deck, and I love the Alice theme, of course. But there's a really good mix of energies and concepts that are explored. This always feels so out of place to me artwork-wise, but I really do enjoy all these sweet Alice images. And I really enjoyed using this. So I would pull this alongside the Alice Tarot or separately, depending on what I was doing, and just got some really lovely readings from it. So that is the Alice the Wonderland Oracle and the Baba Studios Alice Tarot. And I've had this Peggy bag for this deck since I first got it, and I love it so much. So that is what I used actually for my personal practice for most of May. I also worked with a deck for Peggy. I've been doing a new practice where I do a reading around my marriage, around my relationship, and not in a divinatory way, more like in a how can I best like engage in my relationship kind of way, like in a supportive, I just realized that was under my counter or under my shelf. It's fine. Okay. It's hard to describe. It's more like checking in and making sure that I'm connected. It's just, you know, centering my relationship in my life. So I've been using dragon decks for that. And in May, I used the Dragon Tarot. This is the Llewellyn Dragon Tarot by, I forget the creator's name. I'm so sorry. This is such a fantastic Dragon Tarot. And I may have talked about this in April too, because I may have used it a little bit in April also. I really like this. This is lovely. It's on Llewellyn's basic cardstock. I find that the images are really evocative. They have a lot to say. And it's funny because I actually ended up purchasing this after I made my dupes video where I talked about this being a possible dupe for the Smoke, Ash, and Embers. And I say dupe, but really it's a more affordable mass market dragon deck. That's basically where it begins and ends. They have very different energies, and I actually have been working with both of them. But this is really a very Peggy energy deck for me. I really enjoy using this around her when I do relationship check-in readings. So really love this. It shuffles beautifully. I like the backs. There's something about the way that this basic cardstock shuffles that I just really enjoy. Like, is that, I don't know. It's just really nice. It's nice. I like it. So that is the Dragon Tarot. Got a ton of play in May. And then I've also been doing a practice where I pull a shadow focus card for me for the week. And so I used 2 decks for that this month. I used the Lantern Oracle, which, oh my gosh, this one has like really snuck up on me. I managed to overlook this somehow, and I still don't know how or why, but it's a stunning deck. It covers a really broad range of really good themes around healing and shadow work and personal accountability that I think are really, 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 really helpful for me personally. I thoroughly enjoyed my work with this, and as far as a more shadowy oracle deck, this just majorly fits the bill for me personally. It really hit the nose on the head. What am I trying to say? It really hit the nail on the head for me throughout May. I use this a bunch. I probably used this for about half the month, I think. Responding, not reacting. I love this card. It's so good. It's so good. I really didn't know that's what this deck was really about. And maybe that's just my take on it. I'd love to hear your experiences if you have the Lantern Oracle. Do you see it as a shadow oracle? It really feels like that for me. Also, this bag match is really satisfying. It's like the same color. I love it. And then the other half of the month, I worked with the Earth, Moon, and Shadow. I'm probably going to have to transfer this. I'm definitely going to have to transfer this into a Peggy bag because it's a little snug in the bag that it came with. But this is a really fantastic oracle deck. Again, really great for exploring concepts that are connected to shadow work and personal accountability. I have not used any of these spreads that come on these spread cards that come with it yet. This also just shuffles incredibly well, and it's a lovely size. I love the size of this, and I also love the size of the Thistledown Oracle. This has some fantastic concepts and themes, and it really hits me in the feels in the way that I need it to. It's been a very supportive deck. It feels like a shadow work deck that also tries to be kind. Not that Lantern Oracle doesn't try to be kind, but this just feels like a supportive shadow work deck, if that makes sense. More supportive than maybe some others that I've used. Oops. But it's really lovely, and I had a really, really great time with it. Oh, so love this. I so love this. So the creator is, I got this card so many times, the Kindred Spirits card, and it really bore out for me. Serafina is currently working on I forget the name of it, but it's a companion tarot deck for this oracle deck. So I know that that's in the works. And if you don't know, the creator of this deck is also the creator of the Wisdom of Pooh tarot? Wisdom of the Winnie the Pooh tarot. That's recently funded on Kickstarter. So really lovely creator. I got the chance to meet her in person in Portland last year, and she's lovely and very kind and supportive. She actually sent me this deck as a just because sort of situation. It was really sweet. There's 2 other decks I want to talk about because these got a decent amount of use this month. The first is the Mons Tarot Travel Tarot. I took this with me to Portland, and it was my perfect little travel deck. This is a really great one for when I'm doing, I've used this before for client readings when I'm doing Celtic cross spread, because it does fit pretty nicely on the table. It's still, as you can see, a bit of a crunch, but it works. So I really like this deck for that, but it was really great for a travel deck. I was able to just pull this out at my Airbnb and pull cards for myself while we were traveling, and it just felt really comfy and homey. I didn't have to work real hard for it, if you know what I mean. So it just came really easy, came really naturally, and I got some really lovely readings while I was away. And I don't often get the chance to actually travel with a travel deck, but what's really lovely, I would say, about this one is that it's not in a tin, and that sounds a little counterintuitive because I do love my decks in a tin, but I'm a little gun shy about them. I didn't do any air travel or anything, but I do have to cross a border. And I heard from somebody, I can't remember when, maybe it was in the Supportive Tarot Facebook group, who mentioned that the ones in a tin sometimes get flagged by security because they can't scan through them or whatever. And so I like that this is in an actual like regular box. I don't know why, it's a thing. So I think if I actually travel, I might not take tinned decks, especially if I'm air travel, but this was such a perfect for me a travel deck because of course y'all know this is like my favorite deck forever, as far as like the one that speaks to my soul. And this travel version is like the perfect size, I have to say. So like standard tarot, I had so many decks next to me. Let me just grab the Llewellyn. Llewellyn's like, I'd say pretty much standard tarot. It's not that much smaller. Look, it's not that much smaller than standard tarot, this little travel Mons tarot. But the original, like the full-size decks that Joanna Nelson does are oversized. So they're bigger than standard tarot size. So this actually is really lovely if you have slightly like small hands or if you just want something portable, but it doesn't feel like a mini, if that makes sense. It feels like a nice, just a nice size. So anyways, I love this. So glad that I have it. I hope that Joanna does little travel size decks for her other decks. If there's a lot of demand for that, make sure you let her know if you're interested in that. I don't know if she has plans for that. I haven't spoken to her about it, but this is just such a gem. So love it. And the last deck I want to talk about is the deck that really sort of knocked my socks off during my monthly member readings live stream. So once a month, I go on to a live stream for my magical and badass unicorns in my channel membership. And I do live readings. And these streams are like marathon streams. I think the one in May was actually about 6 hours long, which is insane. But I do a lot of readings in there. We hang out, we have fun. It's like the highlight of my month. I love doing them. And in May, one of the decks that I had available for people to choose for their reading is the Spacious Tarot. And a lot of times people will just tell me that I can pick the deck for the reading when I do their reading. I have been really loving the Spacious Tarot. Now this was sent to me by the creators, and I have the original deck and the little expansion, and I have been loving working with it as a combined deck. It's just been an absolute pleasure. It reads so easily for me, and it really stepped up to the plate. Like sometimes I'll show a deck in a recent deck roundup, and then I'll put it through its paces. In fact, a lot of times the decks that are available for my member reading stream are decks that have recently come in. And so it's my opportunity to sort of put them through their paces and see how they perform, how they actually read for me in real time, particularly for other people, because that really tells me a lot about how the deck is going to work. And this one definitely stuck out as just an incredible one. I didn't really have any bad decks. There was no decks that read poorly in May, but this was definitely my favorite from the stream. It was just so much fun to read with. I felt like the messages came through really clearly, and there was some really cool synchronicities with the astrology cards in here. So there's a card for every season, or here we go. There's a card for every zodiac sign in the expansion pack, and I cannot tell you, I think it happened 3 or 4 different times during the stream where I pulled a astrology, like a zodiac card, as part of their reading, and I just read it as part of the reading. But I got feedback from several people that the card I'd ended up pulling, like the astrology card I'd ended up pulling, was their sign, which is such a trip to me. It was really cool. So this one just really, I love this Justice card so much. This one just really stood out as a wonderful, wonderful reader. I love that Aries is a volcano. It's so good. I love the water card. Oh, it's like a deluge, like a waterfall. I love it so much. Anyways, this has been a real pleasure to read with, and I'm so excited. This is one that I anti-hauled it ages and ages and ages ago, and I was really excited to get a chance to look at it, and the creators had reached out right when I was considering whether or not I needed to bring this in anyways, and I'm just so delighted that they did, because, oh, it's been so good. So I'm really, really pleased. This is feeling like what I wanted. This is going to be terrible. I'm so sorry for the comparison, because I think these are both great decks, but this performs the way I wanted the Wild Unknown to perform for me. The Wild Unknown is lovely. I do like it. I got a lot out of it. I learned a ton from it, and I enjoy working with it on occasion, but the Spacious Tarot does for me what I think I imagined the Wild Unknown would do for me. And I think that is just, it clears out some of the clutter. It gets quieter. It creates literal space when you're, I guess not literal. It creates metaphorical space when I'm reading, so that I have room to sort of explore. And I just really enjoyed this, like a lot. So that is it for my May show and tell. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Those are all my decks, all my books, all the things I've been up to. I hope you had an incredible month of May. I cannot believe we are almost halfway through the entire year. what is happening in the world for time to be going so fast? It's nuts. Anyway, thank you so, so much for spending the time here. As always, an extra big thank you goes out to my Unicorn Fam channel members. Thank you for all of your support. You have no idea how much it means. It really, really does mean a lot. And to all of you watching the channel and subscribing and liking and commenting and all the ways that you engage here, that is what helps me do what I do. Thank you so, so much for spending your precious time here in this space. This space would not be the same without you. So thank you so much. As always, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And until then, may your magic always shine from the inside out. Bye!